Jeffrey Locker was a motivational speaker who seemed to have a pretty good life until his body was found in a tough New York City neighborhood. That was 3 years ago.
It looked like a robbery gone wrong. But when police arrested a drug dealer named Kenneth Minor, he told a story that stunned even veteran detectives. Minor has now given his first ever interview to 48 Hours correspondent Richard Schlesinger.
At first, I seen him circle the block a couple times. And then when he came back, I approached him. What do you want? He said that he was looking for a gun. I need somebody to shoot me.
He said that?
Yeah. I said, you're out of your mind. But I might be able to get the gun for you. How much money you got?
Kenneth Minor never got the gun, but he did meet Jeffrey Locker again a little while later in Locker's car.
That's when he said it again, I want you to kill me. I said, why don't you just go and jump in the river? It's right there.
And what did he say?
I need it to look like a robbery.
Minor says Jeffrey Locker wanted his family to collect millions of dollars from his life insurance policies. But if he committed suicide, there would be no payout. So it had to look like he was murdered.
And he started explaining to me that he was losing everything. He was worried about not being able to support his family the way that they were accustomed to. To him, it was like, this is it. If you don't do it, somebody else will.
If you don't
But this is getting done.
That's what he said.
This is getting done.
According to Minor, Locker promised if he helped him, he could clean out his bank account and gave Minor his ATM card and PIN number. Hours later, Locker was found stabbed to death. Then before long, Kenneth Minor was charged with his murder.
This wasn't murder for hire. It was just one person helping another.
And Richard Schlesinger is with us now. It's just such a wild story. And
It
that's
is.
saying something, because you guys cover some pretty incredible stories on 48
We've been
Hours.
known to. You know, one of my colleagues said, how many murder defendants have you talked to? And I couldn't even remember. It's been dozens. But most of the time, they will say, I didn't do it. Kenneth Minor always said that he was involved in this death. But it was this claim of assisted suicide, which is what it came down to. He said it wasn't murder, it was assisted suicide. And that's what the jury had to decide. So you can imagine being on a criminal jury, listening to this case, and everything that Kenneth Minor said about Jeffrey Locker checked out. He was in debt to the extent that Minor told the cops.
Richard, I have such a hard time. I wish I'd been on the jury.
Yeah.
I would keep an open mind. I can't wait to see your piece.
You may not want to have been on this jury,
well,
because this was a tough case.
I just find it so hard to believe, because why would you want to be most people, your biggest fear is dying a horrible death. So why would you want that on yourself? There had to be
perfectly
another
legitimate
option.
questions. Absolutely legitimate questions.
Did you believe Kenneth Minor?
Well, I'll tell you something. I sat across from Kenneth Minor in that prison.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the most eloquent guy. He's almost poetic. I've never met a suspect like him. And I don't think you've ever seen a suspect like him before. You got to listen to him talk. You got to look into his eyes, and you can do that. And the jury had a very tough time with this case. I'm going to be a little coy and not tell you how it turned out. But
you only come here to tease us.
I do.
True.
I do. It's something to do in the morning.
But this is the beauty to me of what I find fascinating about 48 Hours. I will go in with an opinion, like I kind of have one here. I don't know about you, Kenneth Minor, despite all your eloquence. And then you listen to the whole story the way it's laid out, and then I go, okay,
yes.
maybe.
Because what if I tell you that everything that he said about Kenneth Locker checked out? So how did he know about the details of Kenneth Locker's life, of Jeffrey Locker's life?
Because maybe he tortured him to get the information, to get the
no
PIN
evidence
code.
of that.
It's just incredible someone could be convinced, though, too.
Right.
To participate.
These are all great questions.
We will
These
have
are the
to
same
watch
questions
Saturday.
There are going to be lots of answers for us on 48 Hours Mystery this weekend, right?
Another clue for you. Listen to the juror.
No, you don't have time.
I know.